With a potential government shutdown looming, Speaker Mike Johnson and Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer have agreed to a spending deal, and there's been a lot of controversy surrounding it. What is up, people of the internet? It is me, Real American, back in with a new video, and today it is time that we talk about the chaos that is unfolding on Capitol Hill. Because as most of you know, there has been many questions about, hey, would a government shutdown happen on January 19th? And many people thought there was a good chance of this happening. Well, it appears no, there will not be a government shutdown because Speaker Mike Johnson and Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer have agreed to a brand new funding deal that would fund the government at least partially, I believe. And let me tell you, there's been a lot of complaining among the more conservative wing of the caucus, and even on Twitter, a lot of people are not happy with this deal. But I read more into the deal, and I gotta tell everyone, considering the circumstances around, hey, Mike Johnson has a very small majority, doesn't have a Senate, doesn't have the presidency, and he's on thin ice. I would say this is the best he could have done. And this isn't the entire ball of wax. There are many people making this sound like, oh, that means no immigration deal. That means nothing. No. This is a completely separate ordeal that will not include the immigration stuff. Now, before we continue today's video, I hope you enjoy these type of videos. If you do, smash the like button down below, subscribe, share with your friends, hit that little bell, follow the social media accounts in the description down below, and of course, join the channel today. Guys, just for $1 a month, you can join Real American. This is the best way to support the daily content that we all know and love. So I hope and recommend you join the channel today. Alright, everybody. Now, let me be clear about one thing. I am not saying, this was a perfect deal, but considering everything around the deal and what he actually got done, and the fact that this doesn't include immigration, this doesn't include any backroom deals like McCarthy pulled, I would say this is an alright deal. Not perfect, but it's not like terrible like some people are claiming. But some of these people, I gotta tell you, they're complete and total hypocrites when it comes to government spending. But let's just get into it because you'll see what I mean in a second. Congressional leaders have clinched a deal on overall budget totals that could pave the way for a broader government funding compromise in the coming weeks, further enraging Speaker Mike Johnson's right flank. And you heard that key part. This is just the top line. This isn't everything. This isn't, the immigration deal, which, mind you, I think people should be more mad at the Senate right now for that garbage deal they got proposed. And why the hell is Tom Tillis negotiating with Democrats on that? Look it up. It's awful. But somehow Mike Johnson is getting all the complaints from people when arguably he got a way better deal than McCarthy ever could. The long-stalled agreement, announced Sunday afternoon, establishes funding limits for the military and domestic programs for the fiscal year that began on October 1st, allowing House and Senate appropriators to begin hashing out their differences between a dozen annual spending bills. A partial government shutdown looms 12 days away. And look at that. That's what I'm talking about. This isn't everything. This is just one step in the process. Now, I can understand why some people are not happy with, we didn't get a 10% cut. We have leverage, they say. Okay, I agree with that. But you got to be smart about it. You can't just say, we want everything now. You can't. That's not a good idea, and frankly, Democrats would never agree to it. Under the bipartisan agreement Johnson negotiated with Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer, defense funding is set at $886 billion for the current fiscal year, in line with the total President Biden and former Speaker Kevin McCarthy struck as part of last summer's debt ceiling package. The accord pegs non-defense spending at nearly $773 billion, A total that counts tens of billions of dollars agreed to alongside the debt limit package, the so-called side deal that conservatives try to kill. Non-defense budgets would remain roughly flat, amounting to less than a 1% decrease compared to current funding. So, it's not the most in the world. Like I said, this isn't a 10% cut. But for the first time in not even 5 years, 8 years, there is a cut to non-defense spending. That's what I'm trying to tell people. It's not the biggest, but he's the first one to actually cut it. Military programs would see about a 3% increase. And this is my problem with all of this. You got certain people like Chip Roy bitching up a storm saying, oh, it doesn't cut spending that much. You know why it doesn't cut spending? The military. Listen, I support a strong military. But do we need to spend $886 billion? Do people not understand how much of that money is just flushed down the toilet? Listen, you can want a strong military, but there's no reason for the amount of money the military gets a year. And a lot of it just vanishes. It's not going towards the actual military, just all these consulting fees and all these private deals that just disappear into the void. And that's why there, yes, is a slight increase, but that's because of, for the past how many years, we have spent an ungodly amount on the military. And that's what I'm trying to tell people. If you want the budget to actually be solved, you have to cut the military. At least slow it down. This is just McCarthy's problem. McCarthy's the reason we didn't get a total cut here. Why military spending went up 3%. Even then, Johnson was able to get a cut on the non-defense part. During a private briefing call, Schumer told Senate Democrats it's a good deal for Democrats in the country. Publicly, Biden said the accord moves leaders one step closer to thwarting a needless shutdown. But the agreement is far higher than fiscal conservatives have demanded, raising the specter of a funding lapse and risking the House Speaker's good standing among his conference. In a letter to House lawmakers on Sunday, Johnson celebrated $16 billion in extra spending cuts he negotiated beyond the terms of the debt agreement, for a total of $30 billion less than Senate lawmakers sought in the funding bills that have been drafted. So, it's a net cut of $30 billion. If this was McCarthy, he would have never gotten that. Again, this isn't everything we want, but we have to take this as a win. Just, hey, this is part of the process. It stinks. And like Mike Collins said on Twitter, you don't have that much leverage here. Yes, you have some, but he said flat out, are we learning that negotiating with the Democrats in the White House and Senate with a slim majority is hard, and you can't get everything you want, no matter who is in the Speaker's office? Yeah. That's the point. You're not going to get everything you want in this circumstance. And the House Freedom Caucus is complaining. But it's like, what did you expect Speaker Johnson to do? He's trying his best here with a slim majority. He is on thin ice with the entire conference. The Senate's Democrats. The presidency's a Democrat. What are you supposed to do? What? Just take as much as you can. This isn't like McCarthy where he bent the knee and gave Democrats everything they wanted. Democrats gain nothing from this. We actually get some kind of cuts. Now, the Speaker did acknowledge that the funding levels will not satisfy everyone, and they do not cut as much spending as many of us would like. But he called the deal the most favorable budget agreement Republicans have achieved in over a decade. Nor that the bipartisan accord will allow GOP lawmakers to put their mark on federal budgets, rather than running the government on the Schumer-Pelosi deal struck before Republicans claimed the House majority last year. And that's the biggest thing. Spending went down, at least on the non-defense part. But this deal allows Republicans to have some kind of say of, hey, where is this money going towards? Is it going towards some garbage, worthless program, or is it actually spent on something worth a damn? So, listen, I wish there was more. I wish that Johnson was able to get a 10% cut. But at some point, people got to understand, he's not going to be able to do that. He's not going to be able to get a 10% cut in the current circumstances. He did get a cut, but like a 1% decrease. And he does not want to have a shutdown. That's why he's not, he's doing this as early as possible, which I think is a good thing. Don't wait till the last second to make a deal. That's when problems arise with, like what McCarthy did. Remember that? He gave Democrats everything they wanted because he was scared of a shutdown. So Johnson's like, you know what? Let us get this done now, and then we can focus on allocating the funds. And plus, this isn't the immigration stuff. This is a completely separate deal. So I would say overall, it's not perfect, but it's not the defeat some people like Chip Roy are claiming. Which, mind you, you're so worried about it, why are you in freaking Iowa campaigning for DeSantis? Hey, I don't know what to say, but I think this overall is a step in the right direction. But are we not going to blame McCarthy for putting us in this situation? He reached the agreement last year that put Johnson in a lose-lose situation this year. But who knows? We got to see what happens. Hopefully this is a step in the right direction, which I think it will be. But if the House Freedom Caucus is so pissed off at Johnson to get rid of him because of this, I'm going to lose it. Because he could, what else is he supposed to do here? Anyways, folks, thank you so much for watching. If you did enjoy this video, smash the like button down below, subscribe, share with your friends, hit that little bell, follow the social media accounts in the description down below, and of course, join the channel today. Thank you so much. Godspeed to all of you.